In this video, we're going to look at how to import a dBF database file into ChemPoint Professional. Here I have a dBF database file opened in Microsoft FoxPro, and it has my environmental data. Here in ChemPoint Professional, I'm going to go to the File menu, select Import, Universal Importer. I'm going to give it a configuration name, and for that configuration, I'm going to add a source database file. Select dBase, and select the file name. Here I'm going to specify whether my source database file contains data for one facility or multiple facilities. In this case, it's only one facility. Now I need to configure my maps, how I'm going to map the data into ChemPoint. If I go back and look at my database file, for the wells, I really only have one piece of data, and that's the well number. And then for the sampling date, I really only have one piece of data, and that is the sampling date. So those maps are easy. I'm going to configure the location map, and for the location ID, well ID. Nothing else here is relevant. For the sampling date, I'm going to have sample date. In this case, it doesn't look like I have anything relevant to the containers. So for my container map, I can just leave that empty. And then I want to configure the analysis import map. And this one is the most important. So I have the collection date, the well number, my quality control information, I don't see any in this particular data set, parameter names, that is in the parameter column. I can have user-defined fields. Now I need to specify how I know that something is a non-detect, and this is very important. In this case, the result column contains an ND if it is a non-detect. So if column result contains ND, it is a non-detect. I go to the concentrations tab. My concentration is in result. My detection limit is also in result. I can go back and look here. I don't have quantification limits or data qualifiers. Now, I need to look at the result column, and you'll see that an ND is not a number. So I need to remove characters that exist in that column so that is left with a number. The result is always a number, but the non-detects have ND and a parentheses, and then on the right, a closing parentheses. Then I need to specify units, and it happens to be the same for non-detects and detects. Now I click Finish because I've completed my configuration. I click Import to import the data. I have the option of creating a new facility or adding to an existing facility. In this case, I'm going to add to my existing test facility. And my import is complete. Now I want to make sure I have selected my test facility. And to check your import, it's typically best to go to the facility data tree, because it shows you the hierarchy of all of your sampling data. I can also go to dates and locations. facility parameters to see all of my parameters I imported. And if I go to the post-analysis view, I can choose a date and a container and see all of the results. Detected values are going to be highlighted in yellow. One of the things you really want to check is make sure that your detected and non-detected values came in correctly. Some of the most common mistakes are that everything comes in as detected, or everything comes in as non-detected, or everything comes in as 0. And that means you configured your analysis data map incorrectly on how you're specifying non-detects. One thing that is worth mentioning is when you're importing your data, you don't want the file to be open in other applications. Excel and other Microsoft products typically lock the file so that it cannot be read by ChemPoint when you're trying to import it. That's just something to keep in mind. So if you get error messages about not being able to read the file, make sure the file is not locked or opened in another application.